Welcome to the Plead the Fifth podcast, recorded in the Bullhucker studio.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Recorded here at Bullhucker Studio at the Bowels of the Brush Emporium, 210 Clayton Street here in Brush, Colorado. In this episode, we have a couple of co-workers, or even better yet, a couple of buddies. Dencia, Kudron, and Jacob Norris come on and answer 12 random questions. Anything from who they fist fight in history to the thing that holds them back the most in life. Now, if you enjoy what you see today, on the bottom right-hand of the corner of the screen is a little red dot. That's our subscribe button, man. Go ahead and click that. It's a small click for you, but a huge click for us. If you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard, man. Thank you so much for giving us a chance. Now, time for the podcast.
Okay. Just go from the go, man.
I kind of like it.
I kind of introduced you guys already, so they already know. And so Jacob and Dencia, back buddies, right?
Yes.
Hey.
You guys still working together?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Forming young Mustang minds, right?
Yeah.
Trying
Trying
to.
to.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Just depends on the day.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, the only reason that Mustang thing's in here because of her. Just out of fear.
As you recently, Carrie wore that beat digger shirt.
Oh, he did?
He actually did. And Johnny, Chloe's husband, was like, "Why do you have that?" He's like, "I approve, but why do you have it?" He's like, "Oh, Dent's lost a bet."
That's hilarious. You know, it was weird on TikTok. This has been like a year ago. Because they're sitting there, the guest, and someone puts in a comment like, "Does that say Fort Morgan behind you?" This dude's like from Iowa, and he caught the Fort Morgan Mustang thing because it's right above. At that point, you could barely see the Fort Morgan, and he just starts going off on how he's from here. I'd have to find his name. He lives on my age. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. Like that caught his eye, and he's like, "Is this from Fort Morgan?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're growing, bitch." So.
Yeah. 10 miles away. Come on.
10 miles away.
Yeah.
All right, let's do who wrote the bigger one. Dencia. We're gonna go start off with you. Is that cool?
Gosh, let's go.
So this is one of the first questions I wrote for this because this is my favorite question to ask here so far.
Really?
Ready? All right, Dencia. If you had to fist fight any beloved figure in history, who would it be?
Oh my God! Actually, when we were just saying there's a couple of cliffhangers. This was one of mine.
Ooh.
Because my first thought of somebody that I thought of, I'm like, is she really beloved? Like, when I think of beloved, I think of people like, I don't know, JFK, Muhammad Ali. Of course, I'm not going to fight him. I'll get my ass kicked.
That was Jerry Cage's answer.
It was?
Yeah, very ballsy, Jerry.
Oh, he's going for it.
Oh, he's going to get his ass kicked. But
yeah, he is. Well, who knows? Like, which version of Muhammad Ali, though?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
The dead version of Muhammad Ali kicks Jerry's
Mike
ass.
Tyson now after the fight. Like, come on, I'll take him. Yeah, put some money on it.
Well, who's your girl? Who can you fight?
Honestly, I'm going to go with Betty White. Here's why. Wow. Here's why. Everybody loves Betty White. Am I right?
Yeah.
But I recently read something that she was kind of a little bit of a bully. Like
really?
Gosh darn it, I don't remember the actress's name, but that she fat shamed her. And was like, looks like you've gained some weight, and was just kind of a little bit of passive aggressive. And that she kind of knew everybody liked her, and so nobody would ever have believed it, right? And so everybody just loved Betty White. But I read that, and I'm like, oh, maybe she was a bully. So then I'm like, why don't I just fight her?
Here's the crazy part. You're the second person to have that answer.
No.
Amy Holt will help you fight Betty White.
Really? For the same reason?
No, because she likes her so much that she wouldn't mind getting her ass kicked by Betty White. I was like, damn.
I mean, in any version of her. Golden Girls, older girl.
So far, Josh Finley's my favorite. He wants to fight Kenny Rogers, and it's a pure hate. It's a pure hate for that man. Like, I don't know what Kenny did to Josh, but it was substantial because Josh don't like his ass. Like,
Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
What did he ever do to anybody besides get a little bit too much plastic
fucking
surgery?
Hates him, dude. Yeah. Chicken eating bastard. That's
that is funny.
Yeah.
I kind of here for it.
Betty White is a great answer, by the way.
Okay. I like that my answer is a little bit different. Yeah. Legit reason. You can't be a bully. You can't fat shame people.
Yeah. You're gonna get called bitch if you lose, though, right? Like, and not like the fun, like, bitch, where she's like, bitch. That's what you know what I'm saying? She's gonna talk shit. So, all right, Jacob, same question. If you had to fist fight any beloved figure in history, who would it be?
So I can't stand when people do podcasts like this and they have like two different answers. It's like you have one answer, but I'm going to be that person for once.
Yeah.
So the first thing that came to my head was Stephen Hawking. All right, I think he's faking it. All right,
that's the first one.
Like he's faking it. I saw like on Family Guy, like they made like a spoof of it, like, oh, he's like faking this entire time, and I just think I was like, I don't think this is legit. But if I'm being real, this dude ruined the Broncos. Kyle Orton. I've been a fan since like I don't know when I was like born, 98.
Yeah.
And so I've been a fan through the thick and thin, and Kyle Orton, I firmly believe, is the demise of the Denver Broncos.
Okay,
like
help your friend Dencia out. I don't know who that is.
Is a quarterback for the Denver Broncos. You remember? No, way back when. That's when we had like the throwbacks, like was it the 60s throwbacks, the brown and yellow, the mustard looking shirts. Yeah, no, Kyle Orton it was horrible to watch in person. Just the way that like the team bonded around. I mean, granted, he has one of the coolest moments in Broncos history with Gus Johnson when they played the Bengals the Stokely down the sideline. That was like the coolest thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the only Kyle Orton highlight I'll ever remember.
Right.
Besides that, not a great teammate. Not a like just the demise of the Broncos. Like that was like the worst part of being a Bronco fan at that point. And it's thick and thin, like no bandwagon, no nothing like that. But for him, it was just so hard to be a Bronco fan because of him, and it ruined it.
I'd watch you beat him. See, Josh McDaniels took over the head coach of the Broncos at that time.
Okay.
So he traded away Cutler, Brandon Marshall, anything with talent in Denver, he traded away, and we got Kyle Orton in return. And
what time frame is this?
Ooh, that's early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Oh, okay.
Mid 2000s, around that.
Yeah, Cutler was an asshole, but he was decent. You know what I mean?
I think like with the situation he was in, and now that you say Josh McDaniels, that may have been the actual, but I just remember seeing Orton, and I hated his hair. I hated the way he carried himself on the field. I mean, your quarterback should have poise. I mean, you look at Bo Nix, dude. It is like that dude's going out there, and he fears no evil. He's 10 toes down. He's ready to roll. And I just feel like for him, just growing up in that era was so hard to be a Bronco fan, and just hearing all the time, that was it.
You support it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I'd feel watch him beat Orton. I'd be into it,
Horrible.
And hit McDaniels on the way out. Because that guy, I can't stand.
He's going to be there to rescue him. It's like, pick him off the ground. Like, we're going 2 for 1.
Oh, yeah.
Prime time.
And McDaniels is like 5'4". So I can watch this guy pick him up and Fred Flintstone his ass. Like a brontosaurus. So far, so good, kids. All right. Jacob, we're going to stick with you, my man. Jacob, if you could time travel to see any musical artist in their prime in concert, who would it be?
Oh, Motley Crue.
Amen.
Really?
Oh, I watched the movie The Dirt, and I went on like a deep like rabbit hole, like digging into the crew, everything they did. For me, like that's like the peak rock. And like playing in college, we listened to Motley Crue all the time in the locker room. And just knowing the backstory and all, like I'm a big history guy. Like I love to know behind the scenes type of stuff. I think their concert would have been insane. Didn't matter who you knew there. It was going to be crazy. It was going to be fun. Like that was.
You're a younger dude, so I'm going to ask you this: about what era would you do? About what year would you go back to see that? This is a tricky question.
Yeah.
So I'll be real with you. I don't know the eras. I'm saying like Pamela Anderson, like right when things really started to really get intense. Like they're hitting the headlines, they're doing this stuff at the hotel. Like I know that's like a long time, but like when it was peak Motley Crue, and they're going to concerts, sold out places, doing in crazy stuff. I just feel like that environment would have been impressive to be a part of.
I mean, Tommy Lee's pretty cool.
Yeah. I saw him in concert. That's my
Me
answer.
too. That was my first concert. Kicking Ass on the Wild Side was my first concert. Motley Crue at McNichols.
Wow.
Yeah, do you remember? You won't know this, but there used to be before, like Ball Arena and all that. It was McNichols. I don't even know where it was.
It was right to the south of Mile High.
Yes, yeah. It was at McNichols.
And Visco is smack dab in the middle of where they between them. Yeah, that's where they built it. It's a parking lot now, but
it was great. It was great.
It was awesome. I think it would have been just pure chaos. Like one of those, like when they come on stage and there's just like a mosh pit of craziness, and then next thing you know, like you either getting picked up off the ground, or you're just experiencing something you'll never forget. I think that would have just been
awesome.
I think that would have been impressive.
That's my answer too. Is Motley Crue to go back?
Really?
Yep. I was torn because Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, is my favorite album of all time. Motley Crue, and I asked you that question. That wasn't a fair question. You're a young man, but it'd be cool to go back and see them in the early '80s when they played at the Whiskey. Back when they had like 2 albums out, but that's when they were like seriously unhinged. You know,
right.
Towards the end, they started getting sober, which God bless. But I mean, you know.
Thank you for that,
Yeah,
but also,
but it's the movie's fantastic, and
I liked it too.
Much as I despise Machine Gun Kelly, he did a good Tommy Lee. He did a good job.
Oh yeah, that was spot on. And I love those kind of movies. Right?
Yeah.
I love to see. I don't think I've seen a movie that has like idled a music guru, you know, band, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I love watching the Queen movie. I can't remember what.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
called, but like that.
I have not had a chance to see it yet.
What? Really?
Dude, you've got to. They do a really good job. I loved it. Again, like things you never knew about all of that era, and like the way that his life just it went from this to this to this and all the way till the end.
Right.
And I love music. Like that's like one of those things about me. I love pure talent and just that atmosphere and the Live Aid stuff, like the story behind that and how they got back together and all that. It was like this is awesome.
It's
so
called Bohemian Rhapsody, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that whole thing, just like them recording that was it was impressive. Just the story behind it. Yeah,
I love that you know that. I didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a huge music nut. I
That's
love
cool.
it.
That's cool.
If you read the book, the whiskey, or it's called The Derp, it's got a bottle of Jack on it that says The Derp. It comes close. It comes real close. The only part I saw that was different was when Ozzy around the pool and the ants. That was actually in front of a hotel.
Oh, okay.
Like a super fancy high rent hotel.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, right? When he's licking up his own Pete. So that was in front of a hotel, like where the doorman was like,
what do I do? Isn't it crazy to think that people actually live those lives?
I think that a lot. Like right now, I'm thinking like again going back to like the Bronx. Like what's Bo Nix doing right now? Like are you in Cancun? Are you just chilling out at the house? But like just like that, those kind of things during the day. Like it's just interesting to see like what kind of lifestyle do they live. Like Brad Pitt, like are you just hanging out at the house?
Yeah,
just
what are you
Chinese
doing?
food? Like are you you know just and those guys touring? Like what is happening at this very moment? It's impressive.
Roman Empire.
I read a bunch of biographies, a lot of them from old the '80s rock stars, man. You know, because I just love hearing those stories. I mean, look at the podcast. I like stories, you know. But listen, God bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, like Joe Perry from the Aerosmith. I mean, all of those. They're fantastic. That's a great answer.
That's a great time to be alive.
Now you're one of my favorites there.
Oh, thank you.
All right. No, Motley Crue's great. Dencia, I'm gonna ask you the same question, but I almost guess I know your answer, but we'll ask you anyway.
Tell me what you think it is.
Okay, well, it's let's see. If you could travel to any musical artist in their prime in concert, who would it be? I'd be willing to bet Fleetwood Mac would be.
Yes, hands down.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Prince, and I'm like, no, really, Dance. I think Prince would be cool because, like, I had the opportunity to see him, and I never went. And then I was like, okay. But Fleetwood Mac in their prime, like when they had all their drama going on and they're just like really singing their songs to each other, you know, with all the passion and everything going on, I would love to see it.
My friends, I went to McCook, Nebraska to see a very old friend for her 50th birthday last July. And her friends have a speakeasy, but it's a secret. You have to be invited. You know, it's awesome. It's so cool. It's in McCook. So when you walk in, it's all old classic rock, like the Motley Crue poster from L.A. On the walls and stuff, because they're a band called Strings Attached. On the wall, there is a huge mural of Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty. Yeah, no, and they sing all this. So I got their card. I've been handing it out, trying to get them down here, you know. But I told her, like, if my friend Dencia came here, you have to pull her out of here. She sounds like Stevie Nicks.
No.
I'll find a video. I was impressed. And I told my friend Aubrey, who's the one to see her husband, Eric, I said, hey, can I take a video of this? And he's like, I don't know. They don't.
Wait, in McCook?
McCook, Nebraska. I tell you what, you see the address, and it's behind a business. I walked around that block with a bottle of Crown for Aubrey and a case of Coors Light for me, because it's BYOB, looking for this fucking place. And finally, Aubrey's little sister, Erin Nicole, walked out, and I'm like, hey, and I hadn't seen her in like 20 years, and she's, holy shit, you know, like, you're alive? Oh my God. It was freaking out, you know, but.
How do you get invited?
You know what? I'm going to tell, and I told her, Carrie's from Nebraska.
Yes. Go Big Red.
Those idiots probably drive by this place twice a week. You know?
Yes.
But no, it was phenomenal. I spent the first hour just gawking at everything. Like, how is this not? I told him, you know, if you like advertise this, like It's nuts. And you could tell it's like the same 50 people and they're their friends in that town kind of thing. You know, and they all hanging out, listening to good music. It was insane.
And she sings it.
She sings it.
She does all the...
It's called Strings Attached. There's two of them. It's her and her buddy. They are fantastic. They built it in COVID because everything got shut down. So we'll make our own place. When you go in the bathrooms, the cabinets for the sink are all like guitar amps. You know,
no,
that's what. Yeah, they have cotton all over the ceiling with like it looks like lightning. Oh, it's I can't explain to you how cool it was. It was the neatest thing I'd ever seen, dude. I was like, if this was in Fort Morgan.
That is amazing. In McCook, Nebraska. What a random place.
Yeah. That's where they're from. You know what I mean?
That is, oh, yeah.
And they travel everywhere in Nebraska. And I said, do you travel to Colorado? And she's like, we haven't, but we would. And I'm
Bob
like,
Stock.
I will find you.
Tell Chelsea and Michael.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I'll get a hold of Aubrey. So
yes.
So my answer was right. It was Fleetwood Mac.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. Love them. Die hard.
What year would you go?
Oh gosh, of Rumors, of course. Yeah, exactly. When everything's hot and they're just like in their prime, and they have all the drama going on. I get sucked down it all the time.
Do you know what she's talking about? Two of
Not a chance.
Two of them used to date. And so Stevie Nicks used to date the guitarist, right?
Yeah.
And then wrote songs talking shit about him while he's playing the guitar on these songs, right?
Yes.
I mean, what a pimp move that is.
That's
you
hard.
know?
Yes.
That's hard. Just like looking back. And
They all like had affairs with each other, and then they'd write songs about each other, and then they were just like the greatest hits, and then they would like sing them to each other, but just like really lock eyes. And yes, it's so good. I love it so much.
And they lasted. That's what's crazy.
There was a movie on Amazon Prime, and it would kind of like mimic that. Gosh darn it, I can't remember what the name of it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And it was Elvis Presley's granddaughter played in it.
Okay.
And I loved it.
Huh.
And it's like not exactly, their story, but it goes hand in hand with it pretty well. It's so good.
You're going to have to, if you know what she's talking about, put it in the comments below.
Please do.
Check that out.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Great answers. All right, Jacob, if you could time travel to witness any moment in history, what would it be?
Oh, no. I had an answer thinking about this. Dencia, I'm going to have you go real quick because I had a great one. And I can't remember what the heck I chose.
Yeah, I feel like my hippie roots are going to show.
All right.
Woodstock.
Okay.
I just think it would be so cool if
Yes.
you could actually go to Woodstock. Like in my age and right now, could I hang? No. But I want to believe that like younger Dencia doing it and if you... Do we go back in this knowing what we're seeing?
Yeah, you're like right now you time travel through a door and that's where you'd appear.
And so I know what I'm witnessing.
Yes.
To soak all of that in and to
Right.
see all the bands. That's cool.
See, mine is a two-part answer. I had two.
Okay.
The first one was the beginning of time, whether it's the Big Bang or if
Oh.
there's a figure, a god who in 7 days built everything. Dude,
Yeah.
I'd go back to the beginning of time.
Well, you got deep. Okay.
How it started. But
That's
the
cool.
second one is kind of a weird one. It'd be a famous speech. You pick one. I have
Martin
a dream.
Luther King,
John F. Kennedy's speech, or watching the Declaration of Independence.
That'd be smooth.
Just because you can be sitting next to these people, being like, "Do you know how important this is going to be? Like,
This is really a big deal, guys.
yeah, how people are going to fight and die over this thing. You know what I mean? And it's going to keep this country held together somehow, some way.
Yeah.
People are going to argue about it. They're going to try and translate it different ways. This thing is a pain in the ass, but it's worth it. I mean, but it's and to see if they have a grasp of what they're witnessing in history.
To see if they even knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, do you realize? I'd love that for you.
Yeah, but I mean, for being so long ago, they came pretty close to being.
It's pretty smooth.
Yeah. They covered their
without
bases.
the test of time.
So yeah, Jake, did you think yours?
Yeah. So again, kind of the two thing. I'm a big sports moment guy.
Oh yeah.
And I think the first one is Jamal Murray shot versus the Lakers in the playoffs. That at home step back shot. I think if you could have been there on the court and just experienced that eruption of the crowd, I don't think there would be anything close to that. Like that's one of the coolest things, just to be in that environment and see and I've again going into like research and you hearing about these type of things, people say when it happens they don't hear anything. It gets so loud and your emotions, it just sounds like you're in a phone booth and everything's going crazy and you're just not hearing anything, and then it slowly comes back to you. I think that would have been the coolest thing. I think that's what solidified that, just everything, right? Like it's a cool moment. I watching it on TV and I was like, no way this goes in, and bang, and I was just like, that's it. And I think the next one is just like a sentimental thing for me, is like that first road trip in college, playing like after going through just life and everything, being on that bus was for me like just such a pure moment of like, I did it, like I made it, and not knowing what the future is going to hold. And obviously they go, I want to get on the field and play, but like having gone through that hardest point of life in any aspect, moving away from home, starting this, like I questioned football at the time, questioned what was I doing, finally being able to go and experience that was like, I remember tearing up on the bus when we pulled in the hotel. I was like, this is it, like I did it. And so it was a cool thing.
I love that answer.
I love it too.
The second one
just because like you probably didn't like soak it in enough.
Yeah,
like
no, it's
everything, like the build up of it all.
Yeah,
I love it too.
It wasn't the build up, but like I can give so many details of that trip, just like just learning like how like if you cough too loud at dinner, you're gonna get chewed out by one of the coaches, because it had to be like locked in business, like just all these different things. It was like just such a cool moment for me.
That's cool.
That would actually be a good question to put on this podcast somewhere down the line. What moment in your own life would you go back to?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Huh. That's a great answer.
That would be interesting.
Great answer. All right, we'll go back to it. We'll start with you again.
Okay.
Jacob, who is your favorite coworker of all time?
So it's my buddy Brendan Hopkins. He and I worked together, because I feel like coworkers, like you can't do like necessarily like present, just because like you're still making memories, like it might top it. So for me, it was in college. I worked on the grounds crew at the college during the summer. Smoothest job ever. Like if it was too hot, our bosses would be like, hey, like duck inside a building, just stay out of sight, out of mind. So Brendan and I, we were the same age. He played on the defensive line, I played on the offensive line. So naturally we were always going against each other at practice. Always had that unique relationship per se of like who's better, all this stuff. And when we worked together, it was just like a good trust, and it got to the point where like we knew what the next person was going to be able to do. Like if we're working together, we just worked. But then we also had that side of like, you can go and have fun, and you knew like what the other person, like what they were cool with, like just goofing around type of stuff. I mean, we had a lot of different memories. We used to, we were, I wouldn't say pick on, but we had this cat who was working with us, who was a linebacker, and I have so many videos in my phone. This kid would sleep in the shop because it was so hot during the day. We had the campus tour golf cart thing, and so when it was hot, Dylan would go and lay on it. And Hopkins would get the air compressor and charge it up and go and just like blast him in the face with it, and he would just shoot, like freak out. It was just like things like that, man. Like he made it fun going to work. He was one of those, like when we needed to work, we worked, but when it was time to have fun, like he was the one that really helped me get outside that comfort zone of like, dude, like it's gonna be fun. Let's go and explore this. And we had a lot of cool memories together.
Are you still in contact with him?
Oh, all the time. Anytime I post something, he's saying I'm fat. Anytime it's always back and forth on just different stuff. But I think he's gonna be coming down to Colorado here soon, because he's coaching for Black Hills State, doing an awesome job as a coach. I'm super proud of him, and he's gonna do like a little recruiting of our area and stuff. And he's like, when I'm in town, let's go get dinner, let's go hang out. But he's just a good guy, man. And we had a lot of those memories, a lot of we shared a lot with each other, and just stories and stuff. So it was cool to work with him. Well,
if it's 12 weeks from now, bring him on here.
Yeah, that would be. He's got some stories, man. He's a good dude, and I love him. But he's just a funny guy.
That's very cool. Dencia, who is your favorite coworker of all time?
Oh, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I've been working a long time, right? And have had a lot of really great coworkers and people that have become like my dear friends, which I love, right? We all do. But this particular person, when I was thinking about it, she was just so crazy. It was actually the first time I worked at the high school, and it was like 92 to 95, and I worked in the special ed room. And this gal, she was just crazy. And like, we worked in the special ed room, so we were just kind of, on our, what do I want to say? Just not glamorous work, I should say. And but she'd always come like dressed in like jean mini skirts and like tall boots. And she'd always talk like this and be like, I need a cigarette break. And they'd be like, oh, you can't actually smoke around here. She's like, fuck, I can't. Just do that. And then the principal at the time was terrible. And he was always into like all sorts of drama and whatever. And she just knew it. And she just always said so many inappropriate things. But I feel like in that point in my life and doing that job that I needed, it was funny. Like, it helped me every day just be like, I can do this job. Because her life was always drama. Every day she'd be like, one of them, you're not going to believe what happened to me last night. And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Tell me. And she'd have one of these crazy ass stories. Well, I was just sitting at the dinner table, and in comes my ex on a Harley, and he's got another gal on the back of his bike. And I was just, you know how stories just roll with these people and be like, no, why did that happen? Oh, yeah, it happened. And I honestly think all her crazy stories actually happened. And to this day, she's a little crazy. But crazy people make things fun.
Yeah.
I've always said there's crazy, and then there's fun crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And fun crazy is always kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like, you have people that are your friends and they're just dear to you and they're always going to be in your life and in your heart. And then you have the crazy ones that are like, I don't know, they made it kind of fun.
I didn't really elaborate on my answer with the Jerry. So but mine's is Papa Jack Roar. When I worked at the club in Pueblo,
You love that job.
Yeah, I do. I did. And almost all my coworkers I love to this day. Aubrey, that's where I met Aubrey from McCook.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, Papa Jack was an old Vietnam veteran. I don't know, 5'2". He was so little. Papa didn't give a shit. Papa had a drinking problem.
He's working at a club.
Sure. And no matter the nastiest woman that walked in that club every day, Papa had radar, man. And he'd have his arm around her the whole time. And they had this big, he looked like Yosemite Sam. Yeah. And so I got tasked because I became the head bartender because they had to take away from Jack because he was drunk all the time. And they said, you got to stop Jack from drinking. You got to figure out how to slow it down. You get a shift drink at midnight, Larry, and then that's it. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So I told the bar back, start dumping his drink. And all that happened was Jack was he tried to get this kid fired every day. He's like setting him up. He's trying to fuck this kid. And he's like, this kid's not doing his job, Larry. He's not doing his job, Larry. And I go, what's he not doing? He goes, this son of a bitch gives all my drink out. I told him to. He's like, they should fire you. And he gets so mad at me. But he's my favorite of all time because he was such a combative old man.
Yes.
But you know what? He loved you and I loved him. You know what I mean? Like, if a bar fight broke out, I know Jack would be behind me swinging. You know what I mean?
And didn't he make it fun?
Oh, he did.
Like, you knew every day at work was going to be some sort of story with that person.
Do you remember I told you the story about the sunboard I had for $200? He sold it to me.
No.
It didn't have the seat wasn't connected to the rest of the car. It was bad, dude. It was bad. An alcoholic had been driving this thing for a while, but I didn't have a car. But he goes, I'll sell it to you for $200, but you got to drive me places. I go, deal, you know? Deal. Dude, I'd get calls all hours of the night, man. Like, come get me. I was like, son of a bitch. How much more do I have to give you not to have to, we need hours. We need boundaries.
When have I worked his dead off?
When I found out he passed away, it broke my heart, man. I still can't figure out where he's buried. I'm trying to figure out. I'd go have a few shots on that grave. You know what I mean?
There's a dive bar somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bud.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could tell you stories about Papa Jack Roar. Papa loves you. Papa loves every waitress there, bud. It's a fucking freak. All right, Jake. You know what? We're going to start with you, Dencia, on this one.
Okay.
Dencia, what is the one piece of fashion that has went out of style that you wish would make a comeback?
Oh, okay. Gosh, I feel like all my roots are showing and it's so sad. But I think big hair.
The 80s hair.
Yeah, the 80s hair. And my sister would always say this too. She still loves it. And she'll say, like, tease it to Jesus. And she just, and it's not as bad as it used to be.
Oh, man.
Because Paula and I'd have this thing. She could not quit curling her bangs under for the longest time. And then I was like, I'd start giving her shit about it, right? But sometimes I look at it, it's like, do you know what it took us every day to do our hair like that?
Yeah.
And it was commitment. It was commitment to make the big hair.
Right.
And I just think sometimes I'm like, big hair needs to come back.
It might.
Do you think?
Who knows? Jake, I got to be honest. If you ever messed around with a girl in high school with big hair, you got to be careful because that thing will cut you, man.
Have you seen pictures of girls like from the 80s with the big hair?
Yeah. So like going through
obviously Motley Crue.
Well, yeah, but like then family like pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And usually, no, my mom had very interesting hairstyles. Like I was like, you hit a rough patch in life at some point. So.
But not really. I bet it was a great patch.
Oh no,
and just
no, it was horrible. Like she was the only one. I could point her out. She's the only girl in her class that had short hair. Like everyone else had the super long whatever, and I was like, right, short hair, and I was like,
short. Boom.
The guys spiked their hair a lot too. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Aquanet. How they're not worth more money than Microsoft at this point is beyond me from the 80s.
They must not have invested good.
Yeah, I tried to spike my hair, but I have naturally curly hair, so it turned out it was bad.
You did the mullet.
It was bad. The skull at one point. But
Yeah, big hair. Bring it back. Come on, ladies. Let's bring it back. Tease it to Jesus.
I would love if they did too. It'd be fun. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Jake, what is one piece of fashion that has went out of style you wish would make a comeback?
I love that Jason Kelsey did this going to a game, but it's the concept from 50 First Dates when what's her face's brother was wearing like those fishnet shirts, whatever. For dudes to wear that at the gym, that is just peak like bro moment lifting. We had, again, going back to college, like we had guys who just wear very unique, like the wife beater stuff. But I feel like that time was just like that was just a
fishnet shirt.
And it's just, dude, like it was
skin tight. It's skin tight.
Oh yeah,
like, if you
okay.
look, like Jason Kelsey pulled off, it was hilarious, and I was like, I'm too fat to wear it. But if I was ever given that chance to, I'm
rock it.
I'm doing it. That is like that and the jorts and and Timberlands, man. Like that is a clean look. That is just like you're ready. Like you're here to party. Like this guy's gonna have. You know this guy's ready to party. Like this guy's going there having the best time of his life. I
maybe
think
some cuffed off gloves with it.
Oh, absolutely.
And the guy was wearing those in the because he's always lifting.
Always lifting. Always lifting.
Yeah,
he's like, if I'm like, Doc, if I'm wet in the bed at night, he's like, quit steroids. And I was like, that's like just growing up, that was like one of my favorite movies, just super funny. And I always just think like that is peak athleticism is that like you just like, okay, this guy means business. Thing. Oh, and if you have like the sweatband too.
Oh yeah, say go home.
Money.
Game over.
Mine's Janko jeans or parachute pants. This is a fat kid.
Parachute pants, yes.
Oh, fat kids, those are golden.
Hear me out though. 1998 NBA draft. Like pants, like this, like suits that were just way like Carmelo Anthony, that whole thing. I wish. Just because like that's what I look like when I wear pants to work is because everyone now is like, oh, we're gonna have this super like skin tie. They're basically like capris, and it's like not wearing like that's horrible. Not wearing socks with dress shoes is like freaks me out. I was like, no, we need to bring back the heavy trench coat, like that kind of thing for suits. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that was big in my high school. The dress shoes without socks, that was massive. I never did it either. I'm weird about feet, so no thank you. So
there you go.
All right, great answers. I didn't see that one coming. That was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't either. He's surprising me.
Yeah, dude, I'm surprised a lot on this podcast so
I
far.
bet. Yeah.
All right, Jacob, what's a movie everyone loves that you can't stand?
Oh, okay. This was a hill I will die on. Okay, I might be wrong though. Okay. After the second Fast and Furious movie, they can just stop. Everyone's like, oh, they're so good and all this. Like, I don't know if whatever after Tokyo Drift, like after that one, they just terrible. And I hate how they always create new ones because it just takes away from the legacy of what it was. Those first ones were like that was awesome. Like the storyline was great. Now it's just like you're pulling teeth at this point to get these storylines, and it's I hate it, and I don't know, it just makes me mad. I loved them. I loved those movies a lot, and now it's just like that and Spider-Man 2, like the original Tobey Maguire. Love whoever this new guy is. Sucks. Get him out. There's only one Spider-Man. Do not try to remake this. Bring him back. I don't care if he looks old. That's it.
I gotta be honest. The Fast and Furious, the first one's amazing. One of my favorite movies of all time, bar none. But every time they come out with a new one, Jake, I'm with you. I'm like, damn you, because I know I'm going to watch it. I know I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it because now they're superheroes. I mean, they're car thieves that are now international spies. I don't know where that comes.
How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes away from like that risky side of things, and it's just like The Rock is just like this superhuman god lift whatever. I'm just like, this sucks. Like this, like bring back, and you can't bring back but it's just the concept of it, right? It's I feel like I don't know of very many movies who have a great sequel, right? Like a part 2, whatever. Like it's really hard to hit that. I think those two were like perfect, done.
Fast and Furious is a stolen idea.
Really?
Point Break, man. Instead of bank robbers, they're car thieves.
Oh.
There you go.
There's an undercover agent who infiltrates them, becomes one of them. I mean, watch Point Break and then the first Point Break. The second one, no. But watch it, and they're the same fucking storyline.
Same story.
Almost exactly. Other than
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm with you on that one though, man. It's but like I said, I know I'll watch them.
Right? Yeah.
Damn you.
Yeah.
Damn you, Vin Diesel.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Right, Dencia, what's a movie everyone loves that you can't stand?
God, you're gonna hate me. And I almost didn't say it. It was actually one of the first movies that came to my mind, and I was like, no, I better not because Larry will be mad. But I am just gonna say it. And both of my ex-husband and my current husband love this movie, and everybody's like, oh, it's so good, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I actually don't think it's that funny.
You're setting me up. I hate this.
I know. Dude, Caddyshack. I know, I'm sorry.
No, turn him off. Slap Dencia around.
Hey, it's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's okay to have opinions. Hers is just wrong. Like it's just one of those things. Like,
I don't get it. I don't think it's that funny. I don't think it's that funny. Like the whole gopher thing and everything, and I've never even been able to finish it because I'm like, I don't get it. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Don't you look at me like that. I'm saying, I know.
I think I have Caddyshack in my office. I have a Caddyshack sign.
You do. I'm
Des.
sorry. I get it. It's an icon. Everybody loves it. Blah blah blah.
No, that's
and
the question.
all, but I'm just like, I don't get the hype of it.
It's fine.
I'm a huge Dangerfield fan. That's
I know,
why he's my guy.
dude.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're okay. Oh yeah.
And he's here. He's your idol. I love it. Your dog, and I get it. And it isn't just because of that. I know it's an icon, but I've never got the appeal of Caddyshack.
Yeah, I'm with you on this because this is the first time. This is the first time this question's came on this podcast. So mine's Napoleon Dynamite. I can't stand it.
Oh.
I've tried.
That's fair.
They're saying I've tried 4 or 5 times. I mean, I've given it. When I first watched Super Troopers, I didn't like it. What's the? Oh gosh darn it! Will Ferrell in the racing movie Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
I hated that when I first watched it. Now I love them.
Okay, yeah.
It took me. It just hit me wrong. So I thought maybe Napoleon died.
Yeah.
I have tried. I'm like, this movie's horrible. I hate it.
What I love about it is there's so many like behind the scenes things that you never see. So like when he's making nachos, if you watch the plate of nachos itself, the mountain of cheese doubles every single time. At that point, he just has the entire bag on this plate. It's like it's those little, but I can kind of see because the storyline doesn't make sense in ways
And the
like
humor's like here.
yeah, like it's.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like the dance at the end is iconic. Like there's some parts of it, but I can see that.
Yeah, I can see it.
I hate it. I can't. I hate it so much.
My dad is a big like movie nut. Like again, like the history type things. You know, he and I are very much alike. And he stopped Caddyshack when I was older, and he explained to me how iconic the scene was with Bill Murray and Chevy Chase because they hated each other.
Yep.
And he was like, for them to do this was impressive because the rest of the movie, I don't think they were on set together. Like they had to schedule times where they weren't there, and the producers, whoever, said, "You have to do this scene. Like this is important." And they somehow they figured out a way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just like those things like blow my mind with the movie. Like
because you know the backstory.
But it's there's so many great one-liners, and I
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
It's
guys.
okay.
I don't
It's
get
okay.
it.
No, it's okay.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Whatever.
And the gopher and all of it, I'm just like, it's a little bit too much for me.
In the second one, which wasn't great, but there's a part where the gopher does this "fangu," right? And I didn't know what that meant, but I told guys that were like "fangu." So I asked Dan Scalise, who's Italian, "What's that mean?" He goes, "It means exactly what it sounds like it means, Larry." So at work,
The gopher
I got
saying
the HR doesn't speak Italian. I'm like, "Hey, Ralphie, "fangu." He does it back, and we laugh.
And you're fired, sir.
So, Yeah, but that good. I laugh every time that gopher does it. He's so pissed off, you know.
I don't know. I don't get the humor in it. I don't know.
Let's move on.
Okay, sorry.
All right, this next question actually has been the biggest surprise so far of this podcast.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why when we're done answering. I've been very impressed. So, Dencia, what obstacle in life continues to challenge you?
I thought about this one too, and the only thing that kept coming back to my mind, and I don't know if it's even an obstacle, but maybe just raising kids.
Yeah.
Only because, when I think about it, I was so young when I started. Yeah. I was a teen mom. And then I had my last one when I was 36, so I feel like I've been doing this mom thing my whole life. Mm-hmm. And, that being said, I just feel like it's always something different, right? And I recently told somebody this. As being a mom of a 36-year-old and then a 17-year-old, my kids have always been here and here. Yeah. And so at one point it's oh man, this one won't sleep through the night. She's still having accidents. This one is breaking up with a high school boyfriend or dealing with, a heartache, or now it's marriage thing, not saying that they have, but you know what I mean? My kids' problems are all over the world, are all over the place. And, Gage is in Oregon doing his thing. And honestly, I will say this. When I was a young mom, Chloe was, still in high school. And I get a lot of on this one. But I've always said there's 3 things with being a mom that I think would be really hard. One would be if one of my kids married a different race. Not that I'm racist or anything like that, but I was man, the world is really mean. And if one of my kids married somebody of a different race and they treated them differently and they were mean to them, that would be really hard for me to see everybody being mean to them. Yeah. And Capri married Jamie, who's he's going through being an illegal citizen. Yeah. And I've seen that, and I've seen it all play out, and I've just seen how much we love him and how hard he's tried for that. And then I was oh, well, that's not so bad. I've done that. Yeah. And then I thought, oh man, it'd be really hard if one of my kids were gay. Not that I have a problem with it, but I'm just that was in the whole thing of Matthew Shepard times. Yeah. And I thought, man, if one of my kids were gay and that happened, that would be really hard. Right. And then my son came out as gay. And it was hard because I just thought, I don't want your life to be hard. Yeah, no, I get that. And when he came out as gay, he actually told his dad first and didn't tell me for a long time. And I struggled with that for a long time. And I just was oh my gosh, because as a mom, I think, I had all these dreams as my son. He's going to do this and do that. And then when you find out your son's gay, it just changes. Yeah. He still can be a person and do his things. But is he going to have a wife and have a family and do that? No. So as my only son, that vision of him changed, right? Mm-hmm. But then my third hardest thing that I was please God, I think this would be super hard, is if one of my kids were a drug addict. And I'm talking the type of drug addict where I'm I don't know where they're at, they're homeless,
it's hard to trust them.
Yeah, they're stealing from their grandma for drug money or whatever. That would be so hard. And thank you, I've never had to deal with that. Yes, knock on wood, because I just think that as a mom heart would be so hard. Right. So I'm constantly put in my spot as being a mom, because even though I've been this would be super hard, then there's been things that I've had to deal with 5 kids in 5 different areas of their lives that I'd be okay, Dance, you got this. This isn't that big of it. You can do this. Yeah. But really, in the end, your thing that you think is the very hardest and that other people are dealing with are a death or something like that. Thank you that I've never had to deal with that. Right. So I think just raising 5 kids and being in 5 different places of my life and them as well, right? Chloe and I joke about this. She got the young version of me. Her and I have grown up together. Karis, our youngest, she gets the growing up mom, and I'm a different mom. but like I've raised them in different phases of my life.
Right.
So I've been a mom my whole life. But is it an obstacle? I don't know. But it's just been something that I'm always like. It's constantly evolving, constantly changing.
Well, no. The answer, the question is, what continues to challenge you, and that does challenge you.
It does every day, and even as my kids are adults and they become moms, and we do that. We become grandparents. It just changes. But yet I still have these high schoolers.
Yeah.
It's just always trying to meet everybody's needs with where they're at in their lives.
It's a great answer, Dencia.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. and kudos to how you handled it.
Thank you.
That's tough. That's gonna be tough,
it has been. It has been hard being again, just starting so young and ending so late, right? Because a lot of people are done by the time. And then I had the second life, so to speak, marriage, and then I had the last one at 36. So really, I've just through my whole life have been momming, but it's always changing and always evolving, and
it'll never stop.
No, exactly. It'll never stop. Even like Kara's the youngest, that's a junior. We're dealing with these high school things, and then I have this 36-year-old that's dealing with these things, and I want to be the best version to them.
Yeah.
But meet them in their place in life, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's a great answer.
Thank you.
Mr. Jacob, what obstacle in life continues to challenge you?
Before I answer that, Dence, like you are the most genuine human I've ever met, right? Like second to my mom. That's just, mom's a very genuine person. And when you said those answers, that makes complete sense because for you think of others before yourself and like the experiences that they're going to have. And that's Dencia, right? Like, and I see it at work all the time, Fort Morgan's very lucky. We have just such a wide variety of kids, right? And it doesn't matter who comes in the office. They're the first person they see is Dencia, and it's always just a happy smile, just a welcoming environment, no matter what is going on, anything like that. And so for you, that's like when you said, I was like, that's Dencia, just thinking about others and all that kind of stuff.
Feels good to be seen. Thank you, Jake.
You're very welcome. So yours is a sweet answer.
One thing I do want to say though, that did bother me. That doesn't really bother me. Jaime, that's great about Jaime. But before Jaime showed up, I was the token brown guy in the family. You know what I'm saying? It was me, bro. It was me. And then Jaime shows up, and all of a sudden we have another one.
You don't even know Spanish.
They moved, so I can't find them.
True.
We'll never get rid of this sumbitch.
Yes.
Jaime, I'm serious. All right, Jacob, what obstacle in life continues to challenge you?
Oh, being fat.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Preach to the choir, baby.
Yeah. For me, it's like, I don't know. After getting done playing, the big thing was, as soon as you get done, you try to drop all the weight. Because it wasn't fun being 335 pounds, having to, just playing football, your body gets banged up. And so I did it wrong after I got done. Everyone's like, oh, you dropped weight super quick. And you do, because you're not lifting the way you normally did. Right. You're not keeping on all that muscle. And so I went full. I have a problem. I will get invested in something for 2 weeks and I will just burn myself out, man. I was doing the workouts twice a day, the rice and chicken for meals, all this, counting calories, putting it in my phone. And it just got to a point where it's one day off and it's oh, I can do two. So then I lost all that weight. Then you kind of stay a steady medium, right? And I told myself I will never get back to playing weight. It was just one of those things. And then I went, and when I moved back here, started to creep a little bit. And I was going into my first year of it was the first year I was teaching or working at the high school, and I was going into baseball season, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna volunteer. I don't want to have that image because big guys with baseball pants is not really a look. So then I lost a bunch of weight. I was the lightest I've been in so long, and then it's just life happens. You hit summer, you start doing the workouts, and it's oh, I don't need. And then next thing you know, crept up, and right before Thanksgiving break, I looked and I was 1 or 2 pounds away from getting back to that weight, and I was like, this ain't gonna happen again. And it's tough. It's tough. I've been doing my thing, and I've dropped a lot, and I'm but at the same time, it's never good enough. It doesn't matter what the scale says, no matter how I look, I like to see those progression things. And so I'll start, and just a buddy of mine who I played with, when he got done playing, and I'll never go to this extreme, he took a picture of himself in the mirror shirtless, and he set it as his lock screen. So every day he looked at his phone, he was embarrassed of himself.
That's tough.
And for me, I'd get ready for work in the morning and be like, man, like, because I see old pictures of me playing, and people are like, my little brother's like, Jake, your arms were huge. And like, he was in college. Like my last year, I was like, I'm going out of the bank, man. Like I'm gonna, just work arm farm every day, all this stuff. And then I look today, and I'm like this part of my arm is bigger than my arm. And I'm like, that's
preaching to the choir, brother.
And so I was like, I found ways that worked for me, but then it's just, it's longevity stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you go and like, I don't want it to be where in the future my body is already shot. Like everything hurts, and I don't want it to be where it's like 10 years from now I'm cussing getting up off the ground if I'm playing with my kid, or it's like going to Nuggets games is impossible. Like those seats are so narrow. Like I have to sit at the edge of the seat and scoot back.
You're already so big.
Yeah, and
you're just a big guy.
And that's the thing is like everyone's like, oh, like your frame. Like when I tell people how much I weigh, because they're like, oh, like you weigh like 262, and I'm like, wrong. Like I weigh this, and they're like, you carry it well.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I just don't want like the lifelong aspect of things, and so like for like just like further down the road, I want to put like my family in like a situation where it's like, hey, dad's trying to coach baseball, and it's like he's got to sit down after doing batting practice, or something like that. Like for me, it's just food tastes too good, man.
And when you're young, man, it's tough when you get older.
And that's the thing is like they say after 26 it's just impossible, and that's for me it's like, well, I better start now and just kind of go from there.
I've been on it, getting back on it, because there for a couple months, just so much was happening in my life, and that's what drops off first. All these guys that work on this Ozempic shit, right?
Oh yeah, and that's
So I went to the doctor and said, I'm interested. What is it? So she goes, well, it's like $1,500 a month unless you qualify because something's wrong. I go, great, something's got to be wrong. I'm not taking care of this, so something's up. They did blood work. They did everything on me. They called me. They go, Larry, your blood pressure's great. No fatty liver. You're pretty healthy other than your weight. And I go, and I was mad. I was like, God damn it. And my mom's like, that's a good thing, Larry. Now work on it. Like there's nothing wrong with you. That's a good thing. And I was like, duh, that is a good thing. So
you got to get this right.
Yeah, it's exactly right. That's the toughest thing in the world, dude.
Yep.
Good answer.
I always tell myself I'm the healthiest fat guy I know. Like I went.
And you're so active.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like at the same time, it's like mine is at night. My little brother plays football at Oregon State, and like with the time difference, we don't. It's just hard to like carry out a conversation on FaceTime sometimes if like you're in the middle of doing something. But if I'm playing video games with him, it's just mindless conversation. And that's what I enjoy. I enjoy every day we do this, and I love it. Like that's what I look forward to during the day. Right. My thing that kills me is 7 o'clock his time or 8 o'clock his time, 9, 10, just that hour split. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna go eat dinner, and I'm like, damn. But what I was trying to say is I called him because I went and gave blood. I got bamboozled in giving blood. Whatever. That's a story for a different time. And they took my blood pressure, and I was like 120/78. And I called Nick, and he's like, "That's wrong." And I was like, "It was a machine that did it, Nick." And he's like, "There's no way with how much you weigh," and like how he was baffled by it. And so I always joke with people like, "I'm the healthiest fat guy I know." Like I have amazing blood pressure. It's just it just comes to the weight.
I won't go too much into it, but if it's a guy doctor, and they told me like, you got great blood pressure for a big guy. I'm like, because all I do is complain and bitch. I get it off my chest, bro.
Yeah,
I bitch when I got out of here. I bitched how cold this room was. I bitch, and I touch myself. You know what? Nothing gets held back. I got nothing on my chest. I got nothing on my chest. I can just get it out, bro. So you know what? Maybe I should teach a class.
That's the secret to life. Good
Everybody
job.
grab a magazine and get your own room. We're getting that blood pressure down today, boys. No one's dying on my shift. That's too much. Okay.
Oh, God.
That's become my favorite question on this podcast for those two answers.
Really? Yeah.
People are very aware. I didn't realize how people are very aware of their challenges in life, And
Have they been different?
They have been very different. And here's the scary part is I've related to a lot of them.
Oh.
Like, wow, I do that too. That's, it's almost a little depressing, but it's interesting how people are like, this is the problem I have. This is what I'm trying to get to. And
it makes us feel human, right? Like we all get each other.
Right.
We're all relating.
So that's been probably actually my favorite question so far on this podcast to ask. So, all right. I don't remember who we left off with, so we'll start Dencia.
Okay.
What person has made the biggest impact in your life?
Oh, gosh. This is another one I feel like I'm going to get deep because I really thought about it. I was like, oh, my dad, like blah, blah, blah. But really, in the end, I think it's my husband. Carrie. And here's why. He has been my rock through so much. Like, he came into my life at a very, I just getting divorced and I was on, and everybody's like, oh, he's your rebound. He's not going to last, because I met him Rick and I split up in January. Carrie and I met and it was split up like a hard split up. It was very bad. And Carrie and I met in August. And I didn't think he was going to last. And then he meets my kids. And then we just kind of keep going. And I just think he's put up with so much. You know, him and Chloe hated Carrie when we got together and really put him through the ringer. And Cabri as well. Gage, you know, again, dealing with Gage's things. I really thought when Gage came out that Carrie would be like, I'm out. You know, I did not sign up for these. These are not my kids. Yeah. I'm done. And at one point I even told him, I said, if this is, I understand he's not yours, but he's my son. And I love him and I choose him. And if you have a problem with this, then I understand. And Carrie said, I'm in. You're my wife and I love you. And we've just dealt with a lot of crap. And I've just noticed he's my guy. And he has my back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really do think, and now as Karis is getting in and I think, oh gosh, we're going to be empty nesters. I'm not nervous about it. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to like learn that piece of each other. And so I just think it's Carrie.
You know, you're getting grandkids dumped off on you constantly, right? Empty nester. Let's not get too excited. Let's not look too far at that because that's happening.
And everybody will come back. Everybody comes back once. I'm not a fool to this. Everybody has. Yeah.
You see what my parents did? Just go and adopt. Just start over.
I know.
I just start it.
God bless them, Jake, but I can't.
Yeah, just start doing that. Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Nope.
Good answer. And I kind of figured that's what it would be. So.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob, what person has made the biggest impact in your life?
This was going back to my very first thing. I can't just choose one. For me, it's my mom and dad. Like I'm a big family guy. It's just who I am. And I look at our family dynamic and I'm just so grateful to have them. And I mean, 2024 has sucked. Like there's been a lot of family stuff that's been going on, a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't know, you know, a ton of stuff about with the family. And, you know, we keep finding a way to go.
That's me.
Oh. No worries. For me though, it's just like it's always that expectation of, you know, being, you know, a good person. And I think that was one of the hardest things when I got into counseling was hearing some of the stories from these kids and just them expecting like for them, it's like just horrible things. And for them, it's a normal life. That's how they think the world works. And I vividly remember after my first week of counseling, I think it was like the first day, I had like a crisis thing with a student, and I called my mom, and I was almost in tears, and I was like, just thank you for being there. Like having expectations, and you know, my dad and I are very much alike, and we butt heads a lot, but like I just think I was like, whenever something's going on, like that's like the first thing in my head. I was like, okay, call dad. Like what it is, and just the morals that they set up for us, for my brother, sister, and I. Like I don't know. It was just they're just two people who can continue to figure things out, and I mean they hold us accountable. And you know, I think I'm sure if you ask your girls, your girls engaged, you guys, every parent treats a kid a different way. I always tease my mom like, oh, Nick's your favorite. Like you've always baby Nick. Like I've always been. And she gets super pissed when I say, she's like, I don't baby. She's like, I don't have favorites. Yeah. But it's like reassuring to hear them talk about each of us in their own light. Like for each kid, it's like, for me, it was, they never worried. Like when I went to college, they worried for one day, and then after that, it's like, he's got it. Yeah. And for me, like I always kind of like had a hard time with that, because I was like, you know, I want that constant, you know, check in and all this stuff. And it's not that they wouldn't, but like just hearing them and their process of things with life, they're like, you learn things the hard way. You're the first kid, you're the test baby, right? Like that's just what it is,
for sure.
And so for me, it was like they're just two that I can always rely on and go to, and they're just downright the most, just one. I never was gonna say that about their parents, but for me, like
not everybody.
Not everybody. But for them, it's just like they're just the most genuine humans, and we got a lot of stuff going on right now in life, and they just keep pushing. And I think the thing I respect most is like, you can't blame anybody else. Like, what's that going to do for you in life? Like, you got to figure it out, because no one else is going to do it for you. Right. And so yeah, that's, for me, it's just those are my people, man.
See, I relate to that story in Pueblo. I grew up in Brush, small town of Brush, Colorado. I was a very small town kid. I was a good kid growing up. When I went to Pueblo, my buddy Robbie Garcia. What's up, Robbie? Is one of the best guys I've known. And he worked for a Boys and Girls Club. I played sports in high school, so I told him, I can come help you coach these kids. They're 5th, 6th grade or whatever. And they're from the east side of Pueblo. And I would hear their stories, and it blew my mind. There was a rule that you couldn't take the kids home by yourself. There had to be 2 adults in the van when you're dropping them off. Makes sense. Yep. So I told Robbie, I'll hop in with you. Troy and Pueblo, it doesn't matter. They're projects. And it's nighttime, it's dark, we're dropping these girls off. They're 5th grade girls, so 10, 11 years old. And out in the parking lot, guys are getting high, drinking. And I turned around to them and I said, do you want me to walk to I can walk you to your door? And they're like, we're fine. It didn't faze them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Robbie's a big guy like me, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I'm a little nervous in this whole situation. I would have walked him to the door, but I would have made eye contact with anybody. Life. And to them, they didn't care, So just like you, that's funny you said that. I called my mom and I was like, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for not being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Thank you for caring. Because my mom's pretty awesome too. So, but no, I totally relate to that. It blows my mind when someone says, "Oh, I don't talk to my mom and dad." I'm like, what could they have possibly done? I don't. And some were warranted.
Right. Yeah.
Some are warranted, but yeah, at the end of the day, it blows my mind to hear that. I'm like, I don't know what she can do. Sometimes she challenges me, though. Sometimes, I consider it a little bit,
She's your biggest fan, and we all
Yeah. Sometimes I like Glue Factory. I get the brochure, So, all right.
Yeah.
This is a fun one. Jacob, what is a deal breaker on a first date?
Ooh.
You guys can skip one, too, if you want to, because I know you both have been married forever, so.
Yeah.
I think the thing for me, and I'm not going to change the question, but, like, the concept of drama. Like I hate drama. I hate I heard from so and so, those type of things. Just I'm going to contribute this to, like, when you meet someone for like the first person, the first thing they're talking about is like somebody else. Like, oh, did you know like this and this about them? And it's like, if you don't, and it's like a mutual person. It's like, how do you know? Like how? And if people like make assumptions of you. You're just like, you've never met me.
Yeah.
Right? And so just like the assuming piece of things on like that would be like dunzo.
And if they're doing that, they're probably talking about you behind your back.
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
And so I'm just like, I think you just feel the realness in it. But like people who like thrive off of it.
Yeah.
Like they need it in their life. Like they need to, and I think, a healthy dose of knowing what's going on. I think there's a difference of knowing what's going on and gossiping. Like if the intent is to hurt somebody, that's the gossip. But if it's like being aware of the situation, then it's important to know that type of thing.
Right.
But if you're maliciously doing it, just be like, oh, like I just don't like that person, and if I can't be happy, you can't be happy type of thing. Dunzo.
Yeah.
Dunzo.
Yeah. Answer. Oh, someone didn't die there. Okay. Dencia. How long have you been married?
21 years.
So this is a tough one for you. What is a deal breaker on a first date?
Well, I didn't even think like there's a first date, but maybe just like first meeting people, but I thought but I do hate like when you first meet people or whatever, and the person just talks about themselves and doesn't ask you anything. I've walked away with, conversations, and it'd be like, do you even know anything about me?
Yeah.
We talked about you the whole time, which I love. I'm like you. I love hearing other people's stories.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, what about this? And I'm a question asker, right? And so maybe some of it's on me. But when you walk away from a conversation and you're like, man, they didn't even ask how my weekend went, or I don't. That's or like, do I have kids or something like that? I find that just not a very good characteristic of people that are generally interested in other people.
That's a narcissist red flag, right?
Yeah.
That's good answers.
Yeah.
For two people who've been married for a while, I'm pretty sure. So. Because I had some married people. It was the Cages last episode. They're like, skip. All right. Dencia.
Okay.
If you won the lottery, what is the most completely unnecessary thing you would buy?
A raccoon sanctuary.
Yes.
I would buy it, and I'd just put them all in and be like, you're so cute, and we're gonna have cotton candy tonight, and you're gonna put it in the water and you'd be like, Where'd it go? Oh my gosh, it's all gone.
The DOW can suck it.
Yeah, they can. They can't come take my raccoons. And I'm going to raise them, and maybe I'll put them out into the wild. Maybe I won't. And we're going to have birthday parties, and we're going to do all the stupid stuff.
There's a female comedian, I wish I knew, I can't remember who it was. She was on a podcast talking, it was on Ryan Stickler's podcast. Her dad used to feed the raccoons because he was up against the tree line. He put like dog food and stuff out there, and then his wife was like, no more. So he quit feeding them. So those little shits would take rocks and throw them at the back of the house. Like they're
so cool. Have you seen the ones where they catch them like walking across, and they're like, and they shine the light on them, and the ones are all like, just freeze.
Yeah.
Or the guy that feeds them, and there's like 50 of them that come. I love them so much.
Jerry Green, God bless him. He retired from DFA. Out at Hill Rose, I guess he's working nights. And it's dark out in these dairies at nights. He's going to the shack to weigh in the truck, and I guess there was a raccoon in front of the door, and it got on its back legs and hissed at him and did this shit. And what'd you do? He's like, I went and sat in the truck till that thing fucking left.
I know. Everybody talks about how mean they are, and I get it, okay? I'm not stupid. But also, like, I do see the ones when they're so cute and they're just, like, lovable. And how am I at this point in my life, and I still have yet to... Give me a little raccoon.
Yeah, what you doing dirty, Dencia, and see how you feel about that.
No, I'm not living in that world. My raccoon is going to be so freaking cute.
It's like an elf when it's like, hey, buddy, and just cuts the cutscene and it's going to be done. So
just so cute. And you're just going to, I love the way, yes, that's what I'm doing with my money. Stupid, and I'm spending it.
You know what? I like that.
Thank you.
I like that.
Yeah.
Jacob, if you won the lottery, what is the most completely unnecessary thing you would buy?
Oh, man.
Football team.
No. Like, I don't know. Like, you have certain answers that you want to say, but but I think for me, the thing is like, okay, so again, I hate it, but I couldn't decide between the two. One would be a personal chef. Like,
okay.
For me, it would just be awesome, just like to be able to like have that and that interaction, and it's like I just think it's like you just get introduced, and especially like with trying to lose weight and stuff, like it's food. Like I feel like I'm the biggest critic. If I cook food, I don't get hungry to eat it. Like I don't know, like I'll like make spaghetti or something and just be like, I'm not really feeling it, but like if someone else makes it, like it's smooth. It's like Subway sandwiches. You ever notice that? Like if you order your own Subway sandwich, it's like it's all right. But if you eat somebody else's Subway sandwich for whatever reason, it's like the best sandwich in the world. You could put the same thing on it. I used to do that a lot. Like baseball games growing up, parents would bring Kenny Keller, loved the guy to death. His mom would always bring him Subway, and he would always pitch like the second game. And I wouldn't be playing the second game. I'd be like, I played the first game. The second game, it's like, oh, if I have to go in the pitch, whatever. Oh, I would eat homeboy sandwich, like half of it, like a little nibble here or there. Next thing you know, it's like a 6 inch. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man.
Stop.
Yeah, like it's one of those things. And so, I think the personal chef, but the real thing I think would be to have the power to like own a suite at like the Nuggets, Rock, like Ball Arena, the Broncos. I mean, we have the season tickets, but like having that suite option to be able to be like, this is my area, and it doesn't matter how many people you bring, like whatever the stipulation is, but just to be like,
we should do all the sports, like football, basketball, hockey.
Yeah, all that. Like,
you're doing it all.
Like for me, it'd just be like, it'd be so cool to like if someone came into town, it's like, oh, do you want to do tonight? Oh, let's just go to the Nuggets game. Boom. Like you just have your suite and it's all there. Like it has like your name on it. I think that would be the coolest thing to be able to like host events. Or then if you're just trying to be sweet and like there's like a charity thing, or you see like a story on something, it's like, oh, here, go ahead. Or if like you have like buddies going to a game, they're like, oh, I try to do this sometimes. Like if I know people who work at certain events, be like, hey man, like I'm here. I hope and they're like, oh man, that's awesome. Here, where are your seats? I'm gonna upgrade you. Hasn't happened yet, but that'd be kind of cool to like see somebody who's at a game and be like, hey, we're not there. Just be like, hey, here's a door code, whatever. Go in and just enjoy it type of thing if they're in the nosebleeds. Because we went to the Nuggets game last Friday night. Love my mom to death. Like you have the nosebleeds and then you have like the critical area. And we were one row from the top of the dang thing. Dude, I was sitting there like looking down. I'm like, I would appreciate it to be able to like sweet.
Different zip code kind of thing.
Oh yeah. At that point, you're just like you're at home watching. Like I can see the court better on my phone than I am there.
Yeah.
So this came up in the first episode of this podcast. It's where they have the bars now. They have the big screen. Have you seen these? Mm-hmm. It's like virtual, like you're in the game. It's crazy. I'll have to say, Josh Finley finally found the video. Mm-hmm. So you're in the bar, Dencia, and it's this huge screen, and it looks like you're
at the game.
You're courtside. Yeah, it's nuts, dude.
A lot less money.
Yeah.
Beers are probably cheaper.
Well, at your house, yeah, or at the bar, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At the bar, yeah, it's nuts, dude. I don't know the Subway thing. I've been a fat kid my whole life, so no one leaves food around me. They just don't. That's not trust I've ever had for friends, but but I bet it's tough.
I'm just saying, it's like Subway roulette at one night. Just go and just get like 3, like just get a group of people and just be like, okay, we're all gonna order a sandwich, and then it's just a roulette, and you just grab whichever one. For some reason, it just tastes that much better.
That's funny.
I'll tell you, your friends. All right, Jacob, what advice were you given as a youth that you regret not using?
Oh man, credit cards, man. My dad would harp on credit cards, like just don't get it, you don't need it. If you get one, ask for the lowest credit limit possible. And I used to be good with credit cards, man. Like I would freak out because I mean, like it's just the way we were raised with money, man. Like right. I think you fear money, but you respect it, right? And so I was super good about like, okay, if I spent this, and this, like it's automatically getting paid off. And then you hear from all these different people, oh, you want to have a little bit of credit. Oh, you want to have like X amount. You want to do this with this. I wish I never would have gotten credit cards. It helped like just with different purchases in life. Like it helps having credit.
Sure.
But when they send you that email saying, hey, we've increased it. If you don't want it to, don't. And I'm like... I'm a big gift giver. Yeah. Like I'm a big gift giver, man. Like I love giving gifts, and I'm like, this thing can ride. Like let's, you got to spend money to make money, right? It's like that motivation thing.
Yeah.
But then when you look at your credit card, you're like, oh, that's a bill, and you're just like, if I work for the next 3 months and don't spend a single dollar, then we're set.
I can relate to
my
that.
mom, I won't get too far into it. It's the last episode I talked about this. Got me a credit card like at 18 years old. It helps you. Mom worked at a savings and loan for 41 years, so she's very good with her finances. She's a Nazi about it. Her son, not so much. Credit card, same thing. I'd get gas, and I'd think, oh, I better get some cigarettes while I'm here. And the candy bar, probably a soda. You guys want anything? And they're like, Larry's got a free money card. Yeah, Larry does.
Yeah.
So my friends are like piling shit on there. I'm like, it's fine. And then I try to buy something, and the limit had been reached, and I thought, oh shit.
Yeah.
So that was you would have thought I killed somebody. That's how she reacted. She's like, what did you spend? What did you spend it on? I'm like,
that's the worst part when you're like, I don't know. I just pissed it away.
Beer and bitches, Mom. Dencia, what advice were you given in your youth you regret not using?
Well, okay. I mean, I thought about this, and I was like, obviously, like I was a teen mom, right? Yeah. Rick was 15 when I got pregnant with Chloe. And so here we were in the 90s when it really wasn't a thing then, being teen parents. And my mom, and I was like fairly popular in high school. And then like, all of a sudden, like I'm losing friends and whatever. And my mom was like, look, people are going to talk about you. And you can't stop it. This town's going to talk about you. And you have this baby coming. It's a real person. And you just got to go with it. You got to just let this happen. Yeah. And I felt like, I've really thought about this because I feel like my whole life, like people saying things negative about me has really like bothered me. And then I've had a lot of shit happen this past year. And I came across another podcast, and it's the Mel Roberts. Have you guys heard of this one? It's changed my life. I heard it by the grace of God one day, and I was like going through some shit, and it was like, look, people are going to talk about you in life. Okay? People are going to choose to like act a certain way or whatever, and you let them. Yeah. My kids, right? But like your kids are going to do this, and maybe they're not, Karis is doing high school differently than Elsie, and I'm like, let her. So I think the biggest thing, and where I'm really embracing now in my life, let them. People are going to do things, let them. Yeah. And it's so easy to say, but the more I keep working on this part of life and of me, and have been like, people are going to say things, let them. Yeah. Like, we can't change it. And just to kind of know who we are and know like our true friends, like Jake knows who I am, you know who I am. And so to not be bothered by people who don't know me, what they're going to say, let them.
Yeah, you got a list of people who give a shit about, and you're nowhere on that list.
Yeah, right? And like people are going to gossip, people are going to say things, and you have to let them.
It's funny, in my older age, I've become much like that. Mom told me one time, you care way too much what people think. Like, it upsets you. And I'm like, why would you say that? Like, it upset me. She said that, But the older I get, the more I'm exactly like you. Like, I've just been, like, brushing shit off. Like, I don't care.
Right.
I heard about you. I'm like, and I always say, well, it's probably true.
Yes, exactly.
It was not. I'll admit to it. Whatever. So,
and like the need to like always defend yourself or like this or that.
It's tiring, dude.
Like I have done some dumb shit in my life.
Oh, bud.
Right? Like I think of everything. I'll be like, well, that's
Get
probably
line.
true. And I'm at the point now, like. Again, Rick and I I can kind of laugh about some stuff that we went through because it's funny now.
Yeah.
But when you're in it or you're in a situation, like it just feels so personal. But on it, people are gonna talk. Let them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome answers. All right. One last one.
All right.
This one Adam brought to the table, and it's probably it made the first cut. I love this. It's a good one. Jacob, would you rather have a 1-minute conversation with your future self or your past self?
Oh, okay. This is where I'm going to get deep.
All right.
Okay.
Do it.
Do you need another one, brother?
No, I'm good, brother.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you. For me, it would be how long was the conversation? Like, did it say
1 minute?
1 minute.
1 minute.
It would be a 1 minute conversation with myself in the future.
Okay.
And I'm going to contradict myself, but I feel that God puts things in place for a reason, right? It's kind of like the Men in Black 3 movie where it's like, if you alter this is what happens in the universe type of thing. Family Guy's made spoofs of it, but like my thing is I hate not knowing how something ends. Or like, so say if I'm watching, okay, this is kind of goofy, right? I remember my mom growing up freaking out when she was watching Grey's Anatomy, and she like cold turkey quit watching it after Derek Shepherd died. And I'm starting to watch it in college, right?
Shit, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
No.
My bad. My bad, right? So in college, I'm like sitting there, I remember my mom like talking about this. I was like, no way that happens. And I look it up and I was like, oh, this happens. Like for me, like I'm watching Prison Break. I'm like, what happens to this character, right?
Yeah.
That's not the way, like, it's just one of those things. And so to be able to go back in time to change something, I don't think that's, you want to prevent horrible things, but you never know how that's going to, happen.
Right.
For me, though, I want to go in the future and just ask, I just want to listen, just be like, tell me what happens. Like
really,
how much time do I have with this person? How much, like, is this going to work out? And it's nothing that I want to go back and change, because who knows what could happen if I do change it.
Yeah.
But it's just the idea of like,
Do I cherish it?
yeah, like how long do I have to cherish, right?
Let me throw you a curveball.
Okay.
So the rule of thumb I've been saying, like how far we're going, it's half your age either way. So I would be 50 in July. So I'd have to go back to my 25-year-old self or my 75-year-old self, right? So let me ask you this, Jake. Say you go ahead and you're not there.
That's just one of those things. And it's like at that point, like for me, then at that point, like you start to cherish. You're just like, all right, like you never.
It ends soon, yeah. It ends quickly, yeah.
You never know. And it's you have those like creepy, like like you have those like on TikTok where it's like just like the creepiest thoughts, and it's like every second now it's just a countdown. Like if you don't know when that's gonna start. I think. Again, super weird music junkie, but like the music video for Nickelback, Saving Me.
Yeah.
That concept of being able to see somebody's time. And it starts, that was like when my brother was born and my mom was up with him. And that was like the cool thing to do back in the days. You just sit on MTV and watch whatever music video it was. Right. And I remember that messed with me so much as a kid, because I was like, we don't know. Like, we don't know what I could walk out of here and just get smoked by a semi. Like, you never know. But like the concept of being able to see that for somebody and be like, man, like what is going to happen in that point? So if like you said, if I went there and be like, well, we better start having fun, you know, and it's not gonna. It's just, it is what it is, right?
Let me ask you one more question. Say you did go in the back to the past.
Okay.
Would your younger self heed the advice you right now give him? Were you that type of person to listen to Jake from 2025? Would you listen to that advice?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think I think I would have, because also I had like I don't know, I was just a weird kid, and so I had a 7th grade social studies teacher say that Egyptians are buried under every hill. So when I'm driving to Greeley, when you hit those rolling hills, I'm like, there's somebody buried underneath that hill. I was an idiot, okay? So like I think like for me, I think I would have like held on to it and also like just go down the rabbit hole of like freaking out. Like I vividly remember being in a Barnes and Noble and sitting there thinking like, what happens after we die? Like when you go to heaven and it's like the rest of forever. Like I had like a meltdown. I was like, what is wrong with this kid? I was like, I don't know, you're a kid.
Right.
And I just like that was something that really spooked me as a kid. Is like after you're done, like you go to heaven, like it's an eternity. And it's like, what's that look like to you? And it's all this crazy stuff. So I think I would have held on to it and been like, okay, like just enjoy those kind of things.
All right.
Put it back here.
Yeah. Good answer. All right, Dencia.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to my younger self. That would have been like my prime, I keep bringing up my crazy ass divorce, but it was crazy and it was such a crucial part of my life. Here I was 28, getting divorced, 3 kids, and crazy. Yeah. And so I think I'd go back and just tell that version of myself, girl, you need to go through this and you need to experience it and you need to feel it, but it gets better.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna life is gonna be better, and all of this is kind of gonna form you, and it's gonna make you be appreciative to people that are going through it, and maybe you can help other people. But you gotta feel this. It's really raw, but you gotta do it.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
But you don't get very specific, right?
I don't know if I would, because I feel like some of it was just so raw and genuine. Like divorce is so hard, and it just seems so funny. Like that seems like a lifetime of Dencia ago. Right. Where I had these 3. I mean, Gage was 3 months old, and it's so crazy to think of everything that we went through. And yet here we are. Like Rick's one of my besties. Yeah. And I just think, I don't know, if I could have told that version of me, look, he's going to be one of your good friends. And your husband, you're going to marry and you're going to have these kids. He's going to like him. I'd have been like, this bitch is crazy. What kind of ghost of Christmas future came to visit me?
When do we start smoking crack?
Yes.
At what point does that addiction start? Yeah.
I want to kill Rick, okay? Like in his sleep with a box knife. Yes. So I think to go back, I don't think you would tell yourself that. I think we just like experience it, because I know in the end I was okay. But there was times I remember just being at night being like, I don't know if I can do this. I am 28 and my life is over. Like who wants me? Who wants Dance? Yeah. And so I think to just be like, you're okay. You got this. Yeah.
I like that answer.
Yep.
Adam, this was Adam's idea for this question. When he brought it to me, I was like, that's amazing.
I love it. Yeah.
Because my answer is I would go back to a younger Larry and be very vague, but I would tell myself that, you're going to outlive a lot of people you love. You're going to outlive a lot of people you respect. So from now on, take the words, I don't have time, out of your schedule. Don't say anymore, or as little as possible. And, cherish people, because when they're gone, it's going to mess you up. You know what I mean?
Do you do it now?
What's that?
Live this
I
way?
have been more and more. Yeah. I've been. So this next year, I'm going to travel, go see Robbie in Chicago, I believe. Matt came down here, my best friend growing up next door. I'm going to go visit him in Oklahoma. So I'm going to start making like road trips to go see old friends and rekindle some of those relationships. So
love it.
Yeah.
That's how we learn.
It's good to see them. You know what I mean? So these are the people that know the most about you. Mm-hmm. There'll be a question coming up here on this podcast. I wrote this and I like this. How did I write it? Let me find it. Hold on. It's about someone knowing you too well. Who do you not want to give the eulogy at your funeral because they know too much about you?
Oh, God.
Right? Is that a great question?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It'll be coming up one of these days. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's it, guys. That's all 12 questions.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, no, we're doing this. We're rolling this again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This is a dangerous podcast. I love it.
And it's almost an hour and a half long. And
Oh, wow.
Didn't seem like it at all.
No, it went by fast. It was fun.
They're closed at 7, so we got to hurry up. So I'm going to drop this real quick. Thank you to the Brush Emporium. Thank you guys so much. 210 Clayton Street for giving us a place down here to have this podcast, to be supportive of this podcast. So if you support this podcast, please make sure you come in and support these people. They're awesome. The food here is really good. Come down and support a local business, okay? 210 Clayton Street. And if you've enjoyed what you watched today, on the bottom right-hand corner of YouTube, there's a little red dot. That's our subscribe button. It's a
little click for you and a big click for us.
Shit, like she's never been gone. And no matter where you find this podcast, please make sure you follow us and show it to your friends, okay? Guys, thank you so much, and talk to you later. Peace.
Thank you.
Let me take a picture.